For our FCS project this year, my buddy Winston and I decided to make a tour for the high school. We're not the best of friends or anything like that, but I'm sure we get along for this. We resolved our differences and are excited to work together on this project. We knew we'd have to find the one and only Wallace the Warrior to be the co-star in our tour. Then, we ran into one problem. We didn't know where he was. We looked everywhere for him, top to bottom, all around, but we just could not find him. Winston was goofing off, so I had to do the searching all by myself. At this point, I was exhausted, at the end of my wits, not sure what to do. I had searched the entire building, yet I came up empty. I considered throwing the towel until in a moment of divine intervention, Wallace the Warrior appeared right before my eyes. Needless to say, I was shocked. We immediately launched into negotiations, in terms of being in the video and everything that comes along with that. His demands were high, but eventually we were able to come to an agreement. Wallace was ready to do the video. Immediately, we got to work on the filming process. I think Wallace was confused about who the star of the video was. Eventually, we got into a good rhythm, but the beginning was rocky to say the least. After we came to a more mutual understanding, we really started to get things in motion. After hashing out the last few details, including how we would feed Wallace, we, Winston, Malachi, and Jackson are proud to present, for all the incoming students, a virtual tour of Waupun Area Junior Senior High School.
Editor's note. I want to extend a big thank you to everyone who made this project possible, as it was a labor of love and a long, grueling process. All information presented in the video was relevant, correct, and up to date at time of filming. If this changes in the future, that is beyond our control, and we appreciate your understanding. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts, and enjoy the video.
The first thing we wanted to highlight was the commons area. This is the first thing you'll see when you come into the building. Here is where you'll mainly be eating lunch. The majority of our budget went to Wallace's food, so I got left with a small sandwich. As you can see, he wanted to share. The commons also leads into the musical hallway, boasting the band and choir rooms. I never had band class, so I didn't know how to play a saxophone. My apologies. You come to the commons through the two entryways. This one houses the counseling office as well as the ISS room. Hopefully you won't have to go there. Naturally, of course, these are the doors where you'll be coming in through. Before we are able to tell you about the other side, let's take a stop at the lost and found to make sure Wallace didn't lose anything. While you're there, take a trip to the vending machines. Maybe grab yourself a nice beverage. The Wop shop is right next to that, where you can find concessions during home games. Now, we arrive at the main doors. Here are the tables for items that current virtual students have to pick up. Again, here are the main doors. And here is the main office. Moving on from the office, we have the gym. Plenty of doors get into this thing. We would have liked to show you all our cool trophies, but our cameraman got into the shot and ruined it. Why don't we have a look inside? Here's the gym, the place where we host games and physical education classes. Wallace actually has basketball experience, so we'll show you the demo tape from back in the day. Now that we're past the gym, let's move on to the room down the hall, the LGI. This is a place where you can come and watch live performances when they're scheduled. There's never a lack of things to do with our band and choir hosting performances and plays. In my case, I got to see Wallace showcasing his sick dance moves. Needless to say, my mind was blown. Now, as much as you might want to take photos with the talent on stage, it's never a good idea to interrupt. In the case of this poor soul, even though he may have got a fun picture, Wallace isn't going to let him hear the end of it. But how do you get in the LGI, you may be asking? Well, there's a door over here and a way onto the stage, along with the same setup on the other side. And at the top of the level, there are two doors coming from the second floor. Now you know everything about the LGI, for this section at least. That's all, folks. Moving to the athletic hall where all of our best athletes are showcased and fostered. To our right, we have our athletic director's office, in case you may need to see them. Next, we have the first women's locker room. Ignore me for getting mixed up. Let's keep moving right along to the training room, where you'll get your bumps and bruises looked at from the athletic trainer. Now, at the next set of women's locker rooms, nothing to see here. Moving swiftly along, the athletic hallway also leads to the mezzanine. This may be used for extra space during gym class, or for housing lunches in the future. Plenty of space to move around and plenty of ways to get fit. Take this wall climbing thing for example, we could definitely improve through training. This area may not be used often, but it sure is fun when you visit. Whoa, whoa, whoa! Wait guys, we almost forgot to show you the equipment room. This is where our team will house a lot of their equipment, such as helmets, as showcased by Mr. Warrior. Sorry, we almost forgot that, but let's keep moving. Here, we have our first boys' locker room. Right across from that, we got the best place to get ripped, the Fit Center. This has all the equipment an athlete could ever want. This place has everything from yoga balls and balance tools to weights and machines. The sheer amount of training equipment is nuts, and hopefully you'll make the best out of everything available. Wallace and I will give you a quick demo of what is possible. Phew! What a workout that was. Time to get changed at our last stop, the men's locker room. There's nothing else really to show, so Wallace, why don't we get out of here? Next up is FCS Pod, the pod that cares, and boy do they care. Let's get on with the tour. Oh, sorry about that. First off, we got Mr. DeMass' room. Right next to that, it's Mr. Brisky's room. As we keep going, keep in mind that there are supposed to be no students in the teacher's office. Make sure you remember that. Walking past the world map, we have Mr. Fitch's room. And over yonder, I think that's Mr. Alsman's room. Those are all the social studies classes, but over here is the math side. First off, we have Mr. Mueller's room. And then over there, we have Mrs. Sullivan's room. Alright, I think that's enough for the social studies pod. Now come on, Wallace. Wallace? Instead of getting caught in your phones, get caught on some books at our next location, the library. First off for the library, we have Mrs. Eichelman's office, our district media specialist. Walking around, we can see there's a lot of room to read and study, and over here to the right, we have a meeting room and a side room where students can have meetings with counselors. Moving on, we have the bathrooms and the entrance to one of the special education rooms. As you can see right now, it's closed, but right here would be the Warrior Cafe, where you can come get coffee and stuff in the morning. Adjacent to that, we have the copy room. Next to that, we have Mr. Dish's office. Extra room over here. And the main desk where librarians normally are stationed. As you can see, we have a pretty expansive library with plenty of places to sit, learn, and mellow out with a good book or some good studying. Just don't fall asleep in here. Next up on our tour is the junior high pod. This is probably where you'll be staying most of the time if you're new to the school. This area you may only see 7th and 8th graders, but there are a couple of high school classes going on, so you may see them as you're there. Before the new wave of students come in, Wallace, we have to show off all these rooms. On our right, here is A104, a special education room. Right after that is Mr. Billy's room. Come on, Wallace, let's go. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And here's Mrs. Score's room. Let's see if we can get this done any faster. Come on, Wallace. Oh, Wallace. There he is over in Mrs. Galinsky's room. Oh, now he's over in the computer lab? Hey, over here! We're over here at Mrs. Inglekin's room. Alright. Wallace, you're looking the wrong way. On this side of the pod, we have Mrs. Williams' room. That's followed up swiftly by Mrs. Greedon's room. So some history about this room. Oh, actually, before we follow Wallace over here, we'll see Mr. Hunick's room. Down the hallway, we have Mrs. Spore's room. Oh, I think I'm done with the whole teleport thing anyways. Here's Mr. Pickett's room. And last but not least, Mrs. Clarenbach's room. Hey, Wallace, who is that? Oh my gosh, it's Waldo. And he's in the art pod? We better show it off. What's going on? What is this? I think we're watercolor or something. Now that we have that watercolor stuff done with, here's Mrs. Branson's room. Over here is the digital photography room. Don't forget about the flag. Shout out to the robotics team. Imagine Wallace and I are robots. Oh yeah, and also over there we have the computer lab. And as you make your way out of the art pod, just look at the wall. It's really amazing what students can do here. Alright, let's keep moving to the next location. Next up we have the ag hallway. There's a couple of rooms to pay attention to here. This art room is here to host animals so we can take care of them and learn more about them. Right now, we have some goats, which Wallace is surely a fan of, and the feeling seems mutual. Currently, we also have chickens, which don't seem to pay much mind to us, but they're really cool. The Animal Lab is a great resource for students to learn more about these animals and how to raise them. Make sure to take an agricultural class if this interests you. Across the hall from Miss Costello's room, we have Mr. Beaver's room. If you follow us now, we'll be going outside to the greenhouse. There's always plenty to do in here, so Wallace is going to do his part. We didn't actually trust Wallace to water the plants, so we're doing a little bit of a demonstration of what to do. We keep a huge range of plants in here, from succulents to petunias. I came to check in and caught Wallace eating some plants. You should never do that in the greenhouse. And even though Wallace protested, I knew that made it a good time to move on. Next up, we got the 2 shop classrooms. For all your metalworking needs, here's the metal shop. Plenty to do here. Being on task makes you successful here, as well as the rest of high school. In the woodshop classroom, it may seem like a lot of fun, but it can be very dangerous, so you have to be careful. One second you might be chopping some wood, and next you can end up just like Wallace here. It's important to be careful. Wallace being himself was able to make a speedy recovery, but I cannot promise it'll be the same for you. This cool sign will tell you you're in the right place. We've covered pretty much everything on the first floor, so before we go upstairs, why don't we cover the exterior of the building? As exciting as the interior of the building is, one may ask, how do you even get inside? We'll show you around the major exits and features of the building. First off, the entrance I use the most. This one leads directly to the commons, with the office to the side. Up next are the entrances to the athletic hallway and Fitch Center, and you can find them pretty close together. These doorways will lead you to a staircase that goes upstairs to the second floor, as well as the shop classrooms. I can show you properly if Wallace moves. Ta-da! And while we're on the outside, here's the entrance that leads you to the junior high hallway, and an additional staircase that'll bring you upstairs. Come on, Wallace. And these are the entrances that are next to the staff parking. They'll lead you to the junior high pod, library, and social studies pod respectively. If you're a kid that takes a bus, this is where you'll be dropped off. Now that we showcase the major entrances of the building, why don't we show off some of the other exterior features it has to offer. We were going to show off the parking lot, but look at this car. I wonder whose it is. Sorry I didn't mean to get distracted. A few years prior, we had a major upgrade to our athletic complex. Normally it isn't locked. You can find open at major sporting events that are home in Waupun. The types of sports that utilize the complex are the track team, which Wallace definitely isn't a part of, as well as the soccer team, which plays home games here. There's also an area to talk to each other, which is placed conveniently by the tennis courts. Pretty cool place. While we're getting shots of the complex, Wallace ran into his old buddy, Wallace. I tried to see what's up, but Wallace wanted to catch up without me. Wallace remembered that we have to get a shot of the WIC Center, so we decided to take him in style. You can see our practice football fields in the background. The WIC Center features an opening gate to the courtyard that allows vehicles to enter. Next up, we have the elevator. This is normally used for transporting heavy items or helping those with mobility issues. It seems that it'll take a second, so let's cut to the stairs. With the COVID-19 pandemic, stairs have got a little more complicated. Just in case these measures are still in place, we'll show them off. To demonstrate the correct procedure of using the stairs, let's watch Wallace halt two delinquents that are trying to go the wrong way. He comes out and points at the sign, reminding them which way is the right way to go. Now they know to follow the correct way. Oh, wait, what are they doing? They're still going the wrong way. Wallace, show them the law. There you go. Now hopefully they'll understand. Finally, here's Wallace giving one last demonstration on the flow of the staircase. In this example, people come up the right side and down the left side. Good job, Wallace. About time the elevator came down. Now we can finally show off the upstairs. Actually, let's cover some extra rooms first. The clothes closet can be found across the hall from the shops at B145. It supplies students that may not have many clothes, and some that are nice to have during the cold seasons, as well as year-round outfits. Oh, Wallace is gonna be looking fly. One more room we have to cover is the maintenance quarters. Make sure to thank any custodians that you see for all the hard work they do. They ensure that the school runs smoothly. Absolute legends. Let's check back in with Wallace in the... Never mind. Matter of fact, who even is Wallace the Warrior? How did he become our mascot? What are his dreams? Never mind. Actually, I think I hear the elevator. Let's go back there. The thing is, I took the stairs, so let's take a look into Wallace's thoughts. Huh. Interesting. I'm still not there yet, so let's go over where all the exits of the building are located. You'll use some of these every day, but some are only designated for emergencies. The ones in blue are the ones we use every day, and the red are for emergencies only. While we're here, let's also highlight the locations of bathrooms in the school. Here's where they're located on the bottom floor, and here's where they are on the second floor. Oh, I think we're finally upstairs. Let's transition into the language pod. As the name entails, there are two languages taught in this pod, English and Spanish. Either way, you'll be learning to read and write academically. Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Let's get to the tour. On our left, you'll see Mrs. Ryder's room. Following us, here's Senora Lewin's room. Next up, we got Mrs. Malco's room. Oh, look at where we are now, Mrs. Toll's room. With only a couple more rooms left, we have Mrs. Garrett's room. Lastly, we have Mrs. Schulten's classroom. Our next set of rooms are actually right in front of the English pod. Wallace thought that was a bad transition, so he shoved me to the wall. Anyways, here's Mrs. Stone's room. This room is used to help those learning English, providing services to their education. And per usual, Wallace disappeared. Hold on, I think I see him across the hall. In the health room? With a baby? I guess that's not that odd. After all, that is an assignment everyone does for health class. For our second and final part of the project, we have the science pod, where anything happened. Oh my god, Wallace! So, I kinda went up in flames, so for the rest of this section, I'll be touring from beyond the grave. First up, we have Mr. Hall's room. Me and Wallace didn't rehearse this part, so he's kind of on his own. We're at Mr. Harmson's, and apparently Wallace thinks he's kinda smelly for some reason. It's probably because he's right. Next up, we have the special ed room at A220. Across the hall, we have Mr. Hagsham's room. If you walk down the hall, one important note is that you'll see signs like this all around the school. Emergency exits only. Moving in from that, we have Mr. Burkhart's room. This part was slow, so we decided to speed it up a bit. But further down the hall on the right is the lab entrance. You might be wondering about the logistics with me talking from beyond the grave, but this is the science pod after all. Anything can happen. Next up, we have Mr. Tang's room. And for our next room, there goes Wallace again being distracted. We have Mr. Breyer's room. Oh, Wallace is spinning to the next room. Mrs. Backus's. Our next stop is right across the hall, so let's follow Wallace. Wallace, no! Our last pod of the day is a Family Consumer Science pod, home to family consumer science, business, and technology classes. There are plenty of unique opportunities exclusive to our school, such as cooking in the lab and fixing up computers. Wallace said that he's sorry for punching you guys. He just wanted me to tell you that. The first room we have is Mrs. Friend's room. Then comes Mrs. Ammerling's room. The food lab can be found connected to Mrs. Friend's room. It has plenty of features such as, wait, somebody's stealing Wallace's potatoes. Stop, thief! Aside from burglars, there's tons of things you can do in here to hone your culinary skills. Next up, we got this PODS lab, where several different classes take place. Over here, we have Mr. Yednick's room, straight chillin'. As you can see, much to see, plenty to do here, so you should consider taking any of these classes in your high school career if they interest you. And for all the rooms that didn't get their own section, here's a compilation of them. C208, a special education room. C123, another special education room. The art pod lab. The teacher's lounge. Nurse's office. Mrs. Len's room. Mrs. Hoffman's room. A104. The tech center. Animal lab entrance. Mez entrance. Mother's room. Science lab. School psychologist's office. FBLA window thingy. C141 and C142. Oh, hey guys. Let's do the last couple of things. Oh, where'd we go? We're over here. Wallace, bring the cameraman over here. Whoa, I didn't actually think you could do that. Here's Mr. Clarenbach's room. In our last room of the day, Mrs. Eddie's room. Alright, Wallace, let's end this thing. After a long, grueling editing and production process, our masterpiece is finally completed. It took a lot of sweat and tears, but we managed to put the final project together. Winston got the gang together and reviewed the final cut. Wallace didn't seem to be a fan, but we submitted it anyways. Wallace got so furious that it resulted in a broken hand. Luckily, we didn't need to film any more shots, so we could wrap this thing up. We hope this tour was both informative and entertaining. I knew we had a lot of fun, so we hope you enjoyed. Wallace and I had our moments, but overall it was a pretty positive experience for the whole group. There were definitely some obstacles to overcome, but overall we're beyond proud of the final project. Let's thank those that made all of this possible. Wallace the Warrior for being an amazing co-star, obviously me for talking so much, and Winston, who did all the filming and editing. We also want to thank our friend Bryce Greenfield for helping us out with some of the shots. And an additional special thanks to all those people on screen for allowing this project to come together smoothly. Thank you, and good night.